The most peaceful way to enter into my slumber is singing the songs of love. Struggling my way uphill, the elephant I'm carrying remains heavy on my back still. I wish I had a pill to make it disappear, or perhaps a porcupine quill to pop it like a blackhead, a zip tie, a balloon, or bolting blood-filled mosquito gorging itself on my pristine body flesh. I come to you in my moments of weariness, elbows resting on the window sill, like the pie that tempted that fabled heart queen's knave. I'm not a naive knight by any means, but I've spent many nights and days amongst the tribes of the coward and the brave. Is there a way I can discipline my mind so I'm not so susceptible to attacks of the enemy kind? That to think about all the places you could go, little one. Hey, fledgling, you are just beginning to learn how to use your wings to full effectiveness. In my hour of stress, could you stretch me just a wee bit? Though I battle with my sleepy head, wrestling with tiredness, should I resist because you are known to give your beloved rest? I know it's dangerous to speak about such things out loud. You try so hard to touch your heart and wind up just fondling your own nose instead. Let me reach beyond the limiting cell of myself. I impose these restrictions upon the expanse of my imaginative capacity. Wish I had a rubber band elasticity. If neuroplasticity is utilized by you and I, and it doesn't result in winning us any friends or converts to the kingdom of the most glorious of beings on free, just piling up garbage inside our mental think tanks. If you're prepared to do a menial task as well as if the stage is glittering like stars for your benefit, all eyes are trained upon your movements. Will you excel at those deeds only our God sees? I used to lie to myself thinking it didn't matter if nobody was noticing me, paying attention only to those details that were observed by the masses and won me acclaim. Yet what about when everything crashes down all around me? Like the walls of a building being crushed by a wrecking ball for the purposes of demolition and redevelopment, always crashing down upon some deserted shoreline. And I'm those pebbly sandworm-coated grains of silica that lie, remnants of another time, a bygone era, yet carrying on and lingering in your ears and lungs, springing out of the woodwork suddenly. We tell ourselves we aren't gonna take this lying down, we won't permit the destruction of our children's innocence. But what about those busy working mothers who can't afford to homeschool, who don't have time or the legal permission to reinforce their own family's rules? Through corporal punishment we ain't talking about capital. Capital rules, why does capital Hill get to decide whether I discipline my offspring, or let their behavior slide into the abyss, devoid of all reason and clear-cut definitive boundaries? My words can go where my feet may never travel. These vowels and consonants may traverse continents on my behalf. They say my attempts at hardcore appear reminiscent of an incontinent chimp. Such a gimp, never imitating a pimp. Prim and proper little shrimp, once chubby cheek like a blimp. Your follicles, I find the way divine hand made them, no need to crimp. But you can ask me curly questions on a whim. They say that I'm a naughty little imp. I felt pity for my homies when they hovered around on crutches with a limp. My life is a dam of blessings full to the brim. When I'm speaking my mind, why do some people treat me like a crim? I love to use the exercise bike, although it causes me to sweat and smell more porcine than I might ideally like at the gym. What works for her might not be good for him. I try my best to shoot above the rim. Do you prefer your real world or the Sims? For the sake of your love I went out on a limb. My words need to be sharpened constantly, lest they get dull like blunted blades or dim like how you will shade. Taking out our papers, why do some feel their lashes are continually in need of a trim? God cares about the contents of your heart, friend, not whether your waist is thick or slim. The future doesn't have to look so grim. I see you full of vim and vigor.
shimmying because you're in love with more than just your figure. Now you're triggering a revolution in my bones. I have no reasons left to mind. I've completely exhausted my supply of excuses. You know they were always useless to begin with anyway. I'm coming to you in my teary-eyed weariness, crying bucket loads over my wretched state of loneliness. Do you think the storm's about to break for me? Will it fade away and shall the rainbow suddenly appear on my horizon, dragging away these dark and gloomy skies, kicking and screaming, only to be replaced once again with more than welcome sunny and blue ones? I've been trying to figure out if this is part of the plan of the Almighty. I know I don't suffer in silence. I want a suitable female companion to permit me to light the candle of the heart with the flame that's burning inside my own. Why do I moan about my state of affairs when I don't bother to do anything to change it? I say my prayers for the sake of all those who are enduring torture, for the sake of the gospel, or being ostracized simply for speaking their minds about the truth we know so well. Those of us who can boldly tell the story of his transformative power at work in our lives. Will mobile phones, computers and television become the death of our human interaction? We lose out on so much when we reduce our conversation to a screen, although that may be more attractive for those who wish to hide inside the virtual personality of an avatar, who are not confident or comfortable enough in their own skin, whose personality is larger than life in a world of pixels. Yet if you met them on the street, you wouldn't look twice at them. They are shrinking violets, hiding from the light and publicity, fearing it to be too violent. The camera treats us way too harshly, blinking at us with its electronic flickering eye. Word to the wise, you had best be careful where your feet step on the streets at night. You managed to persuade this butterfly to step back in the confines of his cage, at least temporarily. My face glows like worms in a cave when I see your glory on display, clear in the light of day for all the world to see. You were hidden in plain sight, but those who refuse to have their eyes open to the truth, you will forever remain an intangible mystery. Your worth is incalculable to me. You are the culprit responsible for my heart's happiness. If it's a corporate achievement in this sense, it's only due to you, tugging out on the hearts of all those who imbibe within me the strength to keep on going, knowing you as the greatest blessing and privilege. I won't take it for granted that you're here.
Thought we had strayed far from your hands. Though we have strayed far from your hands, you can always bring breath back to our field of yielded dreams. I appear to be contradicting myself like a humble brag. If I truly meant to display reticent attitude, then I wouldn't go advertising my achievements for the whole world to know about. I know I've been a great burden on the backs of countless individuals forced to show hospitality towards me by virtue of my connection with a family member of theirs who I happen to be friends with. It's hard to fathom how anybody could treat another with such a filthy manner. It's days like these you want to make the quickest getaway possible. Dash under a shelter, running helter-skelter, doing whatever you can to avoid getting struck by lightning. Camping underneath tall trees is not advisable in this weather. Stick to saplings. I was happy like a cat, lapping cream out of a cup placed outside the door, especially for me. Why is this process so torturous? Why do I struggle to live with myself, knowing I'm about to cause damage to my once reputable personality? All of us were born into sin, but let's stop using that as an excuse, like it's a license to go haywire. Nobody told you to ignore your conscience, and if they put a gun to your head, you'd be better off dead, rather than compromising your beliefs when you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, stranded at a loose end. Your butt stuck in the window of a hut. The crafty rabbit drew on a smiley face, just to make the sight of your rear end appear more pleasant to onlookers. You should have been smarter than to wolf down all that honey, didn't you know? Little bear, it would shortly produce an expanded stomach. You weren't able to handle the consequences of your actions. What is your life is played out sequentially.
Before the great white throne judgment, I find myself retreating further into the catacombs of myself. I don't want to be the one stabbing with this organ in my mouth designed for the art of concise, precise, or deliberating utterance. It's hard to remain nonchalant when facing the prospect of sipping your tears dipped in a chalice. A child's lips may speak with less restraint, but I am not just shooting my gob-cannon off for the sake of it. I know I spoiled you before, when we were thicker-than thieves, closer than it might have been believed. Possible, considering the backgrounds we inhabited, that we were never slaves to what others thought. Please believe there's no one else that's influencing my response right now. Awaken from your repose, convinced everything is hunky-dory. Is that just a coping mechanism to assist your denial of those moments in your story? Did you have a blackout and censor so the world doesn't see? Like leaving ice cream tubs out in the open with money in them. Thinking a churchyard was a place worthy of trust, where you could count on no one possessing prying eyes. Though many might admit to liberating, messing up books so they could sneakily reclaim them from the library at a discount when they were just a little bit ripped up. We used to help ourselves to the bits we desired from magazines, not caring for the next reader who came along after us, left with a disappointed look upon their faces. When was the last time you viewed those precautions put to good use? Knitted novelties meant for knees, pressing against their downy, dark feathered softness, lovingly stitched with patterns, loudly declaring family loyalties, coats of arms, bearing favoured flora, fauna and emblems. If we were to give a day for everyone who passed away, we'd never quit slipping on bands around our hands in mourning for the dead. Oh, weep gentle sleep for the damned, who never took the chance to get things right with the author of life. Quit bowing down to the Lord of the Flies, he only tells lies, and you will find yourself getting embedded in his porcupine. If you're not careful to ensure the territory of your heart and mind is occupied by our Lord and Saviour Jesus Christ, who abides within us. If we took time off during office hours, every time a celebration for a supposedly miracle producing saint's corpse came round, we would never get to the task of bringing on the bacon or sticking food on not just smelly feet upon love's table. Are you able to see far enough ahead to know whether anyone will care when your body has begun to decay? On the day of your departure from the land of the living, cast aside all doubts and misgivings. Let us be fishers of souls till the day our breath no longer lingers on. For what have we here but a cicada-like shell of a life? This suit we wear whilst enduring the trials of our trail towards God. Though we may fail more times than we happen to succeed, all that matters is we get there in the end, the destination being far more important than the journey. Though we do not wish to waste a single opportunity, I taste and see your goodness. How could this God love me despite all my foibles? Bring revival to our nation, out to our world. Let its fire lick up the spirits of all who are hell-bent, but being consumed by endless chasing after corporate ladders and material positions, spinning rats round wheels, the whole lot of them. I wish you knew that it wasn't a case of treating others how they should be treated, but a curse that has been considered placed on someone due to sins in their past life. In the days of Christ's disciples, they took accused a man lacking vision of having folks who messed up in some major way. For all we know, they could have, but that wasn't the reason why he had his unfair share of disadvantages in life. If all I knew was stinking inky blackness, groping my way around, bashing my skull more often than I filled it with new gained knowledge. Who can I rely on when I pushed away the planet, orbiting my stunning self, no longer in possession of that cheery disposition I once knew, now dispossessed of all I value and pursue? You see, a beautiful swan where the world only sees an ugly duckling. You kill a suckling pig for the sake of a prodigal that finally twigged. They're better off in your house than rotting outside it. Who wants to just stare at a glory train? Oh me, I wanna ride it. If you can right the wrongs of our lives, find a place for us to belong when the world has kicked us out its country club. When we've clubbed to death any chances of reconciliation, all because of our stubbornness, refusing to acknowledge that we may have had any part to play in the dying of our daily display of moral fortitude. Like an adoption ticketing. What was it that brought me to my knees? The catalyst to that whole of a love I couldn't resist easily. I come eagerly to your aid, the one far from your aid to camp, climbing up the ramp, making my stamp on this world. This little patch of dirt I call my own, yet truly it was always only ever yours. We find friends in places you wouldn't expect, though they may be pagans and heretics. They wish to preserve our heritage.
When faithfulness and devotion have been thrown into the ocean, let me remain so, though it's on the news. Why is it so hard for me to avoid hurting you? Why doesn't being willing to adopt a helpful and useful attitude come naturally to this dude? I seem to thrive off my own decay. I know deep down in my spirit there has to be a better way for me to live, so I vary my approach to the burden of the day. Am I gonna live my life in a way that's honoring to my creator, or will I only lead down disappointment avenue when I follow my own shadow drifting over the breeze blocks? The mountain air is crisp and clear here. The birds are tweeting their socks off. I wish I could dislodge all these rocks deeply embedded in my soul. Don't act so shocked. You've been down this road too, making yourself miserable over some girl you never should have loved. I'm sorry if I'm not the one for you. I know you just play around with me. Mind games is all you're good for, but I'm done with the tricks you're treating me to. Though you may tantalize, you always play the role of spider and I the fly. I don't want to be hating on all women because of you. I know you possess redeeming qualities, they all do, but I'm seeking after a woman who possesses more godly attributes than you do. Why is it I can't seem to quit undressing these ladies with my eyes? You can see the signs of an obsessed man when a little curiosity leads to dawdling and procrastinating my whole entire life away, losing track of time. Is it any wonder she doesn't trust herself around me? She thinks I'm so sex-starved that I'm gonna jump her bones from the get-go, latch onto her like a watch on her wrist and never let go. Honey, you got me all wrong. I ain't gonna jerk myself off on the daily. I wish you knew me better than that. We need to chat on the phone every morning. We used to chat on the phone every morning. Why is it so hard for you to understand that all dudes don't want to use and abuse you, chew you up and spit you out again like bubblegum? I know sex has almost become the cheapest of currency in this culture. We have debased and devalued its sacred worth. We have failed to honour it as the treasure reserved for the deserved rich gift gained by a husband from his wife, preserved intact, unbled to reduce significance on their wedding nights. Some of us have to fight to even get a hello out our mouths, 'cause we have become conditioned to expect disappointment. It's more of a failure to fail to try than to have a whole bunch of aborted attempts to achieve success trailing behind your wake. My biggest mistake was in not doing what it took to prove myself worthy of your trust, just when I was getting over not being locked into just one type of desire. Recovering from my reverse racism, I suddenly found myself backpedaling again, getting locked into my old habits. I'm convinced it's possible to be human without being racially prejudiced. Now let's try to define it. Preferring the needs of our one culture over another is exclusively intolerance in itself. Attempting to preserve what we've got, keeping our culture intact, recognizing the fact DNA makes us members of a global
village, and a useful universal family tree. Whether we agree or disagree with embracing the concept of an identity that encompasses all earthlings, best defined in my view by the love of Christ, who forces all other agendas and ways of classifying ourselves to submit to his will and authority, bringing down everything that exalts itself above his plans and purposes for us. The things I do for the sweet relief of release is deeply disturbing and slightly unnerving, to say the least. How can I return back to the mindset of the prepubescent boy I once was, who only wanted to serve and glorify God and didn't revel in the world's trash, smearing it all over his ironclad soul? How did I allow my mind to become so perverted by the swamp gas of the world? How can I be mature without the baggage that comes from growing up? I don't mind responsibility so much, as long as they don't end up the greater portion of my day. I'd much prefer remains reserved for the pursuit of artistic endeavours. My daddy loves me, because he buys me peppermint chocolate ice cream. My heavenly papa watches over me, making sure that I have nice dreams. I wish to avoid all wild and obscene talk. In this day and age, to be extremely in love with Jesus is to take a walk on the wild side. Be prepared to lay down your life. How much are you willing to sacrifice, giving up all your modern day conveniences for the sake of a lasting peace within every human spirit? Thanks, Lord, for not abandoning me to the wolves, us to the wolves, quitting when the going gets tough. So only the strong tend to stick around, remaining friends even when all lovers are abstaining from our company. Why do they keep their distance from us? What do they think they have to gain from such an approach? Once a year, we divide our country into cane toads and cockroaches. Is the enemy encroaching on our territory if we allow our heads to turn blue or purple with rage over which team supporter scores a bucket of popcorn chicken for their trouble, doing nothing more than tuning in the channel and rooting at the top of their lungs, screaming bloody murder whenever the referee makes a decision we disagree with, hurling derisive insults at the television because we can't handle the hot candle of their perspective. It feels like melting wax burning our fingers. You may command us to linger in the danger zone. You breathed us to life to worship you and disregard all imitators of the truth. No fake plastic version shall do. Who will stand up and be counted among those saved from zombie-like brainlessness? Following the haunted herd, who will believe when it's difficult? When you're struggling financially, battling through wounds of the emotional or more physical kind. Some of them seem to heal quicker than others, though we may not be loved and respected by our fathers and mothers. Our heavenly parent is always watching over us and guiding us, providing for us, putting people across our path so we can gain employment, or find the funds to keep those debt collectors beating down our doors. Majestic King, who we love and adore, you are worthy of all of our praise. How can I keep my jaws locked shut? My lips desire to burst forth with affection for you. Zeal for your house is eating up my insides, tearing apart my bones. I can't keep this rapid river from gushing out my vocal orifice. Use me as your mouthpiece in this world trapped in delusion. Can they get over the enemy's intimidation long enough to test what they might dismiss as a myth or joke, excuses posing as reasons? They build the sanctuaries tough these days. Its roof isn't likely to collapse on you the second you step on through, but you'd better be careful. You know God's word for yourself. Be led by his voice alone. Sibylline females are inclined to decline invitations to psychic hotlines, having already predicted their own future past. What does it mean when you come up behind me, wanting to breathe cool air on the back of my neck, speaking in a language I can't comprehend, which I can only assume is the lingua franca of the spirit, the one who lives within my own bones? You could wake the world up to its need for Jesus. You might just do better than me if your approach is holy in love. It's hard to comprehend how it's possible for us to transcend knowledge and translate it into the wisdom of the heart. But I see you have no issues imparting it. What would you think of blood noses, resulting as a response to a stretched out hand in the name of the same God we both serve? We lack the time to get down to the nitty-gritty details of what we do and don't believe. What you know as theology may be doctrine. We don't all have to think the same to love the one who broke our chains. Just agree on the bare essentials if we want to reach beyond those pearly gates. And don't wait forever for a glory train that never arrives. 'Cause we were way too obsessed with self-justification of our sins, gratifying the desires of our flesh, to bother with the tragic scene unfolding just outside the window of our eyes. Gather together your rosebud-like friends. See what blossoms and blooms when you get in a room and conversation starts to mushroom. Contemplation of the divine, a friend of yours and mine, but so much more than just a travelling companion, a guiding light through whom all obstacles are overcome. What's your take on God that embodies flesh as well as spirit? Have you experienced him for yourself? I can feel his power manifesting through your electric fingers, charged with a source of energy beyond yourself, beyond this world's ability to tap into. Sorcerers found out before his power could not be bought or sold like pigeons in the marketplace, scattered cattle, hens, and dashing orphans. When you are experiencing difficulty coping with the alienating environment you inhabit, strangers in a foreign land, I can understand how you would cling together to any sense of connection you can find, and scream Nicolation whenever it seems like someone is threatening the ships of relations you claim to possess within the walls of the cage we built for God. I hate to hurt you, but I love to see you go a little deeper than the surface level which you're drifting along right now. I wonder how much of your problem is just articulating what you know, too shy to appear mistaken for a big head, which was never an issue for me. Seeing mine swelled to maximum capacity before it popped in the autumn breeze. I'm making an awful mess of our connection, bedazzled by a bird of paradise, morphing into the legs and arms of a lovely young lady, beloved of Christ, who hears her heart's cry. Like me, you long to be active for his holy kingdom. You're sick of sitting on your hands, twiddling your thumbs, waiting for a chance to leap like leopards suddenly to action. Hey, priceless princess, I never meant to steal your robes and crown or take you down a peg or two. It's not even possible for me to do anything to you that would dissuade you from walking through those gates of splendor, waltzing with your soul's lover and my own. I can go for 1,000,000 miles on the strength of your concrete prayers. Like titanium, they won't be easily broken. Like the promises of plenty politicians, experts are fleecing the masses, pulling the wool over their eyelids. Why is it so hard for you to believe me, that I possess any kind of innocence? Did you see a devil or an angel when you were stretching out your hands over me? Could you detect the war taking place within the realm of my pores? Partially bored and restless, tugging between excitement over the things of God and boredom, hovering like a menacing uncle, hogging the snack table. You got so much joy it can hardly be contained. I know it sustains you through those dry desert experiences. I'm querying whether you ever had to sacrifice a friendship just like me, 'cause you felt it was necessary. for your own well-being. I'm sorry if there were guys who tried to squeeze all your love out and never wanted to contribute anything to the health of your heart, leaving you scorched within like torched earth in the aftermath of a bushfire. I couldn't spot any physical evidence of abuse in you, but perhaps your cautious manner around me speaks of threats and traumatic experience. When your life is almost ripped out of your hands, dancing on a knife edge, thinking nobody understands. I didn't let on you were conversing with the very target of your mission in life, to help those who need a little leg up, 'cause they lack the self-confidence to stick one foot in front of the other and walk out the front door. You came so close to playing rescuer, but the cat leaped out the bag into the arms of its dragon keeper. It's hard to battle Stockholm Syndrome. Are you as captivated by this moment as I am? Why did I allow my mouth to get me into deep doggy-doo around you? How can I stop myself from making a fool out of me? There's something driving you to adopt a ministry beyond the nursery's cartoon walls. You've got a whole lot of jumping beans in you. I never saw anyone more keen to play the role of Omega's digits, going where others fear to tread. 'Cause they might get sticky fingers, but you don't feel the mud or the hard yards never. I can tell you're a survivor, even though you don't want to get into exactly what you went through. Because you do want to pull the trap flies up the sticky web they find themselves tangled in. Through fear or convenience alone, knowing the inevitable, that they may end up someone's supper. Still in the meantime, they got a cozy place to rest. If not, the ability to move and wriggle free of this tight gossamer hold. When you can't get away, that's when God brings out the big guns of gold and you that Eldorado. Hit them within you, set them on the face, held tight by heaven's embrace, separating the pigeons from the snakes. How can you tell the real from the fake? Do the colors of illusion dissolve when we all go jumping in the middle of the lake? Would you stand by the water or party on with the die-hard tech defense? Do you consider it suitable to do the hula in front of a doodle would jump through hoops just to get next to you? That kind of intensity is scary to most members of the opposite gender. To me, could we be each other's soul mirror, sugar, honey? I stuck ice in your cup of tea. You were mine, even if I'm never yours. Inside the land of dream, I'm happy like the cat that licked the cream. When you stand so close to me, can you feel the steam rising up between the two of us? I just assumed that you weren't interested. I didn't hunt your fingers for rings. Just hope this queen bee had no sting.
Syringes applied to hand grenades have no hallucinogenic effect, unlike our skin. I've doubted myself more times than I have fingers and toes to count, but never God's ability to work through me and despite me. Why do people despise politicians, thinking they only live to serve themselves and their only interest is in spending other people's money? For sure, there's waste that goes on, but there's an awful lot of people who benefit also from the government's redistribution of other people's wealth. Some contribute willingly to the economy by boosting their superannuation funds. Others do it simply thanks to invisible charges hidden in the cost of goods and services.
public infrastructure and council projects are built from private funds, corporate sponsors and charitably minded donors who go the extra mile when it comes to giving of their money and time. I can't understand my reluctance to participate in these discombobulating circumstances. I must be kidding myself if I think there's anywhere I can run from the horrors of psychological war. The battlefield is all around you. Every time we disagree or fail to hear each other properly, I smell potential for conflict and violence. It's not like I'm thirsty for bloodshed. I'd much prefer loneliness and silence. I don't get bored to tears with it. In fact, I relish the prospect of time to myself, providing breathing space. On those rare moments when we all get along with each other and you don't feel like someone's gonna snap any minute now, because we settled our differences and learned how to live with them, attempting to gauge an inkling of that holy wildfire. It spread to my door, but I dampened its enthusiasm. Now I have to figure out ways to stir up the kindling again. My supplies are dwindling. Even a spindly tree will do the job at a pinch to get that toasty tongue crackling again. I don't know the responsibility of having a family of my own to justify being distracted from the task in hand. Would God give me a woman understanding of these demands on my attention? Is she disqualifying herself from being with me or vice versa? It wasn't like I was ever searching for Miss Perfect. I was just happy with her. However way she came out, her mama. Of course, all of us have been shaped character and personality-wise by our experiences and home environments, by the media influences we digest, the education we partook in, and the sort that never got a look in, because we didn't allow it to pass through the entrances of our spirits. We were raised to think a certain way. Nobody could convince us we were wrong unless they provided clear evidence to the contrary. All I have seen confirms the existence of God instead of contradicting it. An excess of love being dumped on your doorstep can make you want to dash for the hills as fast as your little legs can carry you. If you can't find anybody to marry you, I guess you just settle for brand new dresses and suits instead of baby carriages, gaining a few kilograms since I was first pushed around inside my pram. Think I've changed even slightly. Maybe not on the inside. Those grey hairs don't mean you've lost one iota of your joyful spark. Unsung heroes kept in the dark of the limitless ripple-like repercussions resulting from your brave actions. I don't think you would have kept your true self hidden from me all those years. I was far too close to you for you to manage such a devious deed successfully. I know your shadows and your light, and didn't shy away in the slightest, perhaps because I thought all along you were fighting on the same team, aligning yourself with what we once both struggled against. Why did you buy the lie of that there illusions regarding the afterlife? Why did you let the childhood dreams die with the woman? I don't think you can live comfortably with yourself, always fighting a war within against the way that you were raised. I had you pegged as one of those content to mosey over the hill of age, without being consumed by the fast and frenzied activity of child rearing like the rest of us. I stood outside a fire I desired to burn me up. You put the concept of the two of us being more than friends in the too hard basket long ago. If not from the outset of our interactions, only ever wanting another brother, a father figure, or a kindly uncle, never anything more than a friend, stuck with the knowledge that all your relationship attempts with the opposite sex outside of me have failed. You still persist in swimming against the tide of wisdom that would be choosing me to save your melodies, even if I happen to be a casual contributor towards them. I don't mean to distribute woe to your doorway. I'm no more weighed down emotionally than anyone else I know. Why do people think of singles as being in a privileged position? Sure, I can come and go as I please, but I'd swap that freedom in a heartbeat for that more than welcome ball and chain of marriage. Having a spouse doesn't have to be like a lice grasping at your hair roots. So many shoot off their mouths, reminiscing on those times when they never felt obliged by the duty of care to share their food or waking hours, sacrificing sleep for the sake of a weeping or intentionally rebellious child, longing to preserve those days of innocence when your little one looked up at you with adoring eyes, never questioning your judgment or wisdom, considering you to be right about absolutely everything, knowing you would never deliberately lie to your own offspring. How can you explain the workings of the world to these ever-curious minds, hungry for truth and unceasing wide dancing over their heads? A never-ending supply of question marks bouncing around inside their puzzle prepubescent noggins. I kept you waiting for an answer. I wasn't going to take my chances anymore, drifting far from the shore of serenity we once knew so well. Can I go to church without my clothes being judged? Though a man looks on the outward appearance, but God is far more concerned with the contents of our hearts. Why should he care about my scruffy appearance in his presence? Why should he want to pull me by the scruff of the neck back to the washroom and clean up my act before I'm permitted to enter in his house? I'm dwelling in his secret place. I'm abiding beneath the shadow of his mighty wings, letting all that needless criticism just blow away with the gathering of four winds from every corner of this soon to be finished with earth. Can I topple my insecurities? Can we drop all the pretense of having it all together when on the inside we're falling apart? Can we be vulnerable about what's going on in our lives, pushing us away and pulling us towards the presence of God? If I find myself reluctant to participate in activities of holiness, I should worry lest my flesh begins taking over my spirit, dominating it completely. That is not the person I wish to be represented as. Let me walk ever shadowing the footsteps of Christ alone. Plenty come to undermine and undervalue us. They disregard our full potential. They don't see us as essential for requirements for an orderly society, for a world that chooses to tread the path of peace instead of needless war. There will never be enough bloodshed to slake some people's appetites for it. Only one corpse was ever qualified to wash away the sins of the whole world with his enduring life source. More than an impersonal force, but a tangible, living and breathing being, intervening on our behalf, standing on the path between us and any demons littering the suburbs where we live, preventing them from interfering with the clearing of our conscience by the joy we find abiding in the splendor of your presence. When we feel as though we are not at liberty to speak freely around each other, surely that's a problem we must tackle right now. Why should any of us hold back or fear repercussions simply as a result of having innocent discussions? We may not see eye to eye all the time, but that doesn't mean we have to step along alternate routes simply due to the fact we didn't reach a consensus concerning the way we pass on truth and walk in honest love. I couldn't help but wonder if I was born slightly differently to everybody else, and then I realized we all were. Our genetic codes determine our uniqueness as much as our upbringing.
allows us to become a product of our environment, even in our reaction to it. Perhaps I'm overly rambunctious, but before my limbs cease to function, if God so pleases by the winter warming, more than welcome hands of a beautiful woman who loves Jesus. Perhaps you are still getting the two of us ready for each other, knowing I'm a shameless flirt abundant with curt gestures. Perhaps I am closer to maturity today than I was yesterday. I get that it's got nothing to do with growing older, 'cause senior citizens can still act like hooligans. Our bodies just slow down and become capable of less the older we get. Experience can yield wisdom even if we continually appear to be relearning the same lesson over and over again. I fear confrontation, so I hesitate to poke the sleeping bear by provoking disagreements when I sense there's no good way to finish off your sentence in harmonious exchanges of perspective. Don't think lies and the truth are interchangeable. You can't dispute the facts and remain free of the stigma gained by becoming a laughing stock attached to your person. We all face our own battles, but I possess an advantage over those who don't enlist the help of an all-powerful creator to come to their aid. Those love for me will never fade, who never betrayed me, though I've been a Judas myself. Did I betray with a kiss, laying the walls posing as sheep? Though I heap up my possessions from the dirt up to the heights of heaven, what does it merit me if I possess love for none other than myself? If I don't have the Lord of righteousness guiding my every step, a steadfast friend who has stood by me throughout the beginning and end of every friendship that passed through my life, who has been there to witness my tears and comforted me with his word. I draw strength from it. In this moment's of weakness, when I feel like I go any longer, there's nothing for me but to give up. Why do I persist? I've only enlisted in his holy army. He hasn't fled the scene of me yet, so I refuse to do him that same discourtesy. You are jealous in his zealousness for our hearts, only 'cause you know to bow down to any other king would only enslave us to his charms and do us harm, never good. My burdens become lightweight when I let you take on a freight transported straight to heavenly, yeah, 'cause I'm a gingerbread man, learning from the big bad wolf, not wishing him to catch me alive, or else I might be suffocated to find myself the only item available on the menu for his dissection and delectation. Is this my process of dictating messages received from you relating to the whole world? I'm not afraid or ashamed of stating the obvious. If I was, I'd never get anything accomplished, spreading too much of originality. Those ultra strokes of genius that dazzle the populace. Amazed at how a man is to stumble across such a marvelous uncaged thought. Those who fear the last of whipping tongues are always the first to jump to conclusion, rather ironic. That we all should fit into specific formulas and aim to please the crowds, even at least man saw ourselves. What if I'm not being true to who I am? And if I'm just that painted up claim, do I deserve the clapping of the hands? Do I even want it anyway? If a corpse is only offered on the condition I abide by the rules and regulations, I'm just presenting them with a plastic version of myself, not the genuine article at all. Who says we can't air out a dirty laundry in public? Let them sling them out and see if we care for sticks or slide softly up. Who we are, we will be who we will be, always, regardless of whatever they say to convince themselves that we have altered ourselves. This may be true in the case of some of us, but not me. Apart from the inevitable onrush of chemicals and varicose veins, I will pretty much always remain the same. These flames still dance within my irises. You haven't witnessed the passion burning out of them yet.
Though my memory may become a foggy and I stumble over my words, though my vision gets increasingly blurred and my hearing isn't quite as crucial as it was when it was just a wee sprout. So I can live without perfection as long as my brain doesn't go walk about, and even if it does, it doesn't matter so long as I've got a God who holds me close as his prized possession. I've never been booked so well in nights that I was due to play. I was due to play a gig at my funeral procession. You don't make concessions for shifting social norms. You refuse to conform to the world and its ways. Why should you obey the dictates of your own creation? That's ludicrous to illuminate my mindset. Help me remember how beautiful it feels not to wake up with a regret pounding on my conscience. The last time I checked, no one went to hell for being roused. Rudy with a hangover just for it. I'm in an excess of drink to cause him to forget that every action has a consequence. It wasn't a bullet that stuck itself inside the metal chamber, but it was my finger to pull the trigger to release it. I felt like it just pierced my foot when I pushed you away. Whatever it was that caused you to not want to stay. I wish you would tell me so I could avoid repeating the same mistake. But I guess I'm liable to repeat the same pattern, 'cause women don't warn you when you give them dragons only by fleeing the scene. Do you know that they so wanted you more than a few and never bothered to slay them with prayer?
Give me the exception to the rules. I refuse to follow my own stubborn, elusive self. I've barely got time to do the things I need to do, yet alone the things that are just once or leisurely clock-melting activities. How can I set your mind at ease about the future when I'm uncertain about it myself? Please don't close the curtains on the possibility of us just yet. If only you lived in the same country, this would be so much easier. I wish I could fly on the wings of a snow white dove to you, my love. You are the one for whom my heart beats faster than the beat of a woodpecker drills into a tree branch, or a hummingbird beats its wings, not flustered, just acting normally, though appearing frantic, perhaps consumed by frenetic kinetic energy. What is there to stimulate me in this scenario? I am hunting desperately for reasons to live when I don't know how to convince you to step out of the shadow realm. When I am causing you to retreat into silence because of my treatment of you. Am I scaring you by wanting too much too soon? You could have been my sun, moon, and stars. I love you just the way you are. All the plants are spinning, those constellations blinking for you. Put the radar and the headlights on, let the foghorn blare loudly. Send a searching spotlight hunting around the hedgerows for the two of us are nowhere to be found. Let's have a people party under the sea. We can dance around in our fishtails if you please. You can pierce me with a trident if you dare, as long as you let down that beautiful mane of jet black hair and let me smell it up close and personal. I love to get in touch with you. I mean, really connect with you, being completely direct with you. I got tremendous respect for you. That's why I'm prepared to wait for your chocolate skin to be wrapped around my bottle of vanilla essence in wedded bliss. Just a hug and a kiss away from eternal happiness. Wish I could live without my destructive trail of broken promises. All these memories keep haunting me. Afraid I'll make the same mistakes again as I once did before. Why is this fear keeping me here, anchored and chained to the ocean floor? I can't move, 'cause I'm terrified of slipping up and making another error in judgment. But better to have had a go and fallen flat on your face than never to venture beyond the familiar realm of my dream castles. Could you picture the two of us rolling down the streets together? You know, you've got sexuality on the brain when somebody says day, and you mentally substitute the D for a J. Considering the future of you and me, what if our union gets jacked
by interlopers, conspirators, wriggling in between us. Why am I shooting the possibility of us an effort before we've even got started? Could you impart God's truth and wisdom to me? I'd love to hear your prophetic singing, joining in sweet melodies with psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, making symphonies in our hearts to God, a calming cadence in his eardrums, a plumb and right opportune moment. I'd best catch you before some other brother snatches you up. Then I'll be the biggest sucker in the universe to miss out on a crash hot girl like yourself. It doesn't matter if you're cashed up or if your stash is as infirm as my own. Still, we can make some homegrown harmonies. We can find something to explore. Pluck out the souls, pluck out the sonic flower from my psychic gardens. I've never felt this fresh or frisky before. I never met a girl like you before. If only I could hold on to your gorgeous self forever. Such a figure, really cutting an impression on my mind with a pair of scissors. And the kindest of gestures, what makes me think I'm cut out or qualified to love the likes of you. If only I didn't see what's being out of my league. If I possessed the confidence to step my game up and claim you as my own. If I could only avoid jumping the gun again, acting like we were already together when we're barely getting started. I don't even truly know you know if you like me yet as more than friends. Just that you're willing to invite me to a meeting I can't attend unless I grab a private jet plane I don't own. I wish I had a money tree growing in my backyard so I could reach you. That would make my future sweet like pictures. And if only I knew how to raise a child instead of pitifully watching from a distance as others go about the business of developing their own, growing branches on their personal spruce. If I tied a noose around my neck, it wouldn't get me to heaven as fast as it does when I kiss your juicy lips. If my dreams come true, we grab some fish and chips, take donkey rides along the beach, bumping up and down ever so gently, riding on the carousel. Forget those dappled horses, I only got eyes for you. The finest filly of them all. I'll buy you frilly dresses at the mall. Oh, wouldn't you look pretty in those polka dot decorated petticoats? Don't you just make my hope float past the stars? You're the bar of soap that's rubbing up against my skin, and you're the apple juice that's dribbling off my double chin. And you're the reason God is probably going to let me in, because you wouldn't like to see you walk eternity all alone. Now you're the one who helps me out when I'm stuck for words like glue in a pot. No matter how I shake it, I just can't seem to get it to glue out. Could you stoop so low as to choose me as your own? Otherwise, just loose me up, cause I don't want to go on in this life without you. Who have we in heaven besides the Lord, who loves us despite our flaws? Folding my hands in prayer, wishing you'd always be there, so I come up the snot from your mouth and kiss you whenever I'm allowed. Oh baby, you make me so proud, just to be connected with you. If only you knew how much I adore you. I don't think it's too much of a well-guarded secret. I've never been that good at playing cloak and dagger when it comes to love. Unlike my friends, I was hiding in the cupboard, acting like mates around their folks, yet when their backs were turned, stuck each other's brains out. They must have got a clue when they snuck up out the window. They couldn't lock the door forever, keep their precious bird inside a cage. That jewel remaining unmined, an untapped treasure that's all mine. Fountains of joy spring from my soul whenever I'm around you. Angels and turtle dust around you. Baby cherubs throw flower petals in the air to celebrate the fact you're here with me now. Is this persuade you up close and personal for your own good? Do you want to come around for coffee in my neighborhood? I run out of patience so easily. I want everything to happen right now, forgetting about the dance of affection. I've got to learn to travel with turtle speed to give you time for your pretty petals to unfold and gradually open for me. I've got to handle you with kid gloves, treating your fragile heart delicately like egg on spoon racing to the finish. The lamentations of being forced to exhale outside your presence. Angels expostulating with devils inside my head.
Which one is gonna win the glory or the sin in the end? I don't know how to keep you by my side except by dangling carrots under your nostrils, hoping to keep you close. I gave control of my mind, body, and soul to the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. People don't always say exactly how they feel to your face. You have to dig around how to decide it. Put in the 2 minutes of the expression up like worms from the dirt. You don't know me well enough if you think I chase anything with legs in the skirt. My tastes are far too discriminating for most to handle. Once you get to know me, you will begin to see that Pharisee-like nature leak out. I am quick to judge you and find fault, dismiss you for your inadequacies, yet fail to see my own, though I don't know how to drive. I haven't got a college education and I can barely keep it together long enough to record another or start a life with you behind my picket fences in the boondocks, away from the harsh bright light of their glaring cameras. Eating up our privacy, those paparazzi giving us fame on the one hand and stealing our joy on the other. Can you be my Valentine? Could you let me love you, honey, till the end of time? I just want a simple life, to go anywhere in the world without worrying about political divides. Why do we have to live like this? Who told you to boycott the divestment sanction to make life difficult for those who once called themselves God's chosen people? And many still among them do. What if we were perfect for each other? We just lived in their country until now. We were just wandering around looking for love in the incorrect other. Looking for love in the incorrect places. We should have come around to each other's places. Then maybe we could act more graciously to those disposed towards opposing us. So because we froze our assets, guided by your game, and decided to only obtain chunks of cash intended for the advance of God's kingdom. He stars up the wealth of the wicked for the benefit of the righteous. I'm waiting for the day the angels come and take me home. Until the morning arise, I'm a soldier on, fighting this war on my knees for all the souls currently lost to the evil one in the world. But I'm not giving up the ghost just yet. As long as there's breath in me, I will travel on behalf of all those who have surrendered their body to the flames. They say you can't help who you fall in love with, but there's just a lot perpetuated by the enemy and his minions. None of the difference between belief and opinions. One can be substantiated by hard facts, and the other is mere prejudice and bias. Rearing it's not necessarily ugly head, only near the context of intentionally perceiving one culture as inferior or superior to another, or viewing a certain gender or age group to be in a high realm, untouchable by the common masses. What are you going to do when the world and the wall both come crashing down like waves all around you? Engulfed in the furious intensity of this maelstrom that's surrounding me, it's hard to stay calm when you're staring directly into the hurricane's eyes, searching for a caring face, someone to embrace in this life, if not beyond. Call out to God, and He will always respond. Don't be so consumed by despondency that you can't view the trees for the forest, the bees for the hunters. We can be augmented by anguish, or just allow it to let us language. They say dollars are the universal language, but what opens up my doors is a heart of love. If you make people feel like they matter to you, then they won't remain so scattered. Though your veins are pricked and your clothes are tattered, the illusion of perfection you once knew shattered to bits, lying at your feet, dying for the completeness of being someone's weird missing puzzle piece. Break loose my muzzle, please. I can't always claim my intentions were to cause hurt. What kind of sadist does it make me?
Does it give me kicks to see you scream? Revenge sparks an ugly desire in me to see you suffering. Just because of how you treated me, so don't tell me to act fair. But if you must proceed to demonstrate my need to walk in the ways of the righteous, 'cause if everyone got what they deserve, we would all be tortured beyond the grave. Yeah, God in His mercy saw fit to take out punishment on His own back. You could be sleeping in a cardboard shack and still be resting and condemning, not feeling any resentment when the King has ransomed you from those baying demon dogs, the men of justice. The devil has no right to claim us as his own anymore. Our souls belong to the Lord, and we magnify His name at any given opportunity, 'cause our community is healed thanks to His powerful blood of work. Those who reach up to Him are freed from Cain's curse. We have murdered Him with our sin. We have nailed Him to the cross. We stand guilty before Him, though we chose to bear our scars and wear the crown of thorns, so we may be reborn. What about those days when you feel so depressed that you can't get up in the morning? You don't want to pull apart the onions and face a brand new day, tired and young. Afraid of what untold promises that don't hold, just out of grip. Did you let it slip that you were feeling this way to anyone inside your own head? Jesus is risen from the dead, so you don't have to spend a duration of time between the womb and the tomb. Open over what you could have, should have, would have done differently. Life is too short to inhabit the city of regret, so make the best choice to use every instant, singing praise to our Messiah. You have a holy tide 24 hours ahead of you. Don't let them slip on through your fingers like the last blot. Don't think your past is all you got to show for this life you know as your own. If your sins are being atoned for, why are you still reliving them? Make a clean break with that unholy self you left behind. Leave it in the mud and ground. Jesus gave us peace of mind. We lie to ourselves that we can't turn a corner, twisting round a bend. Moving on from that old lifestyle. Don't let these dirty habits resurrect themselves within us again. You give us coping mechanisms when the familiar spirit comes creeping round our door like it used to before. You send it scurrying out back to Gehenna. You help us recognize your voice descending it from the foul-minded pretender. If we offend people about setting them, cause them to run into your arms, that's the ultimate solution to their distress. Let's see how they all come seeking after if they treat you as more than just another god to add to the collection, but recognize the fact that they have to make you their only soul's love, the sole source of all wisdom and inspiration.
Peace out.